Whew. We are here today to talk about the power of predictive technology. Now, what's different about this webinar is I gave thousands of people the market times and directions on Tuesday night for Wednesday and Thursday, which means it's impossible for me to curve fit the signals. It's impossible for me to talk my way out of the data. Whatever has happened or transpired between Tuesday night and this afternoon, those signals were carved in stone. And we're here to say that markets are manipulated. More and more, day after day, we're seeing in the newspapers and the online forums, people are just treating markets like casinos. And the last couple weeks, it's funny to watch a bunch of people in a forum do it when the banks have been doing it for over a century, I believe. And so we really have one belief right here. Everything you're about to see originates from the idea that markets are not fair, that it's impossible for 90% of people who are participating to be on the wrong side of the trade 90% of the time. One would think, logically, that at least half of them would have a chance and the other half would not, that it would be more evenly distributed. But yet, when we discover the net results year after year, decade after decade, 90% of traders lose 90% of their account within the first 90 days. And brokers scramble to replace the dead accounts with fresh ones. Can I get an amen? Amen, 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 amen. The forum got shut down today and people lost their minds. Robinhood Interactive Brokers said, you can't trade that stock. And I was like, why not? Why not? No one shuts Goldman Sachs down. No one shuts JP Morgan down. They're allowed to manipulate stocks however and whenever they want. There's a great video, if you ever have the opportunity. How many of you have ever seen Jim Cramer on Mad Money? Has anyone ever seen Jim Cramer on Mad Money? If I can find it. Ricky Marcus. He may have had that pulled down. There was a video where Jim Cramer described how his hedge fund used to manipulate stocks like Apple by telling people things that weren't true. Saying that Apple's battery technology was no good and a report was about to come out and they would get people in magazines to write articles. Yeah, they took that article. It's funny, they took that video down. Oh no, here it is. If you ever get the chance and you see this fool on TV, I want you to remember what was in this video. I'll paste it in your GoToWebinar chat box. It's a fascinating, fascinating video. And so everything we're about to do is based on this concept. You win battles by knowing the enemy's timing, a centuries-old edict. Use a timing the enemy doesn't expect. Banks don't expect you to do what I'm about to show you here today. Now, in the last several weeks, I've been called a scammer no fewer than 3 or 4 times. No evidence, no dialogue, no submission of any kind of proof. People get mad when I say what I'm saying to you today. They don't like it. Because the truth, unfortunately, in this case, is very painful. Let me show you a few examples of what I mean before we go too far down the rabbit hole. On Tuesday, reload NinjaScript, I gave, gosh, I don't know how many tens of thousands of people these times on the bottom of this chart. As a matter of fact, let's just skip right to the main song of the dance. This is the Bon Jovi Living on a Prayer, Everybody on the Dance Floor webpage. And if you want, you can follow along by clicking on the link in the GoToWebinar chat box. 2 days ago, on Tuesday night, I asked my wife to excuse me. I had to go upstairs and send the Tuesday email. My wife knows what the Tuesday email is, J. Edgar. She knows what it is. And I come upstairs and I send out a link to this page. And on this page, there are behavioral forecasts, time-based, for Wednesday and for Thursday. So every week, 2 days a week, we sort of put the pudding out there for proof. And on Tuesday night, these were the times that the indicator for NinjaTrader 8, compatible with Interactive Brokers, TD Ameritrade, eSignal, forex.com, and so on, warned us about market manipulation in the future. And so as we work from left to right, every one of the signals on the top of the screen, every blue line, represented a time. What do you think it was telling us was likely to happen at these times, Mr. Cordero? Anuj, what do you think these times on the top of the histogram were warning us about on Tuesday night for Thursday? What was likely to happen when we got to those times in the future? Anybody want to take a guess? That's right. The software was warning us, the indicator was telling us there was ample evidence of market manipulation in the past at these times. Joseph, unfortunately, GoToWebinar prevents you from seeing other people's chat comments. They don't like when people mingle in their platform. I'm not sure why. We've tried tons of different ways to get people to see each other. Haven't found a way yet. It's weird, right? And then conversely, you don't even have to think very hard. All the times on the bottom of the chart represent times where the banks, or maybe the people on the Reddit forums now, I don't know, have been caught with their hands in the cookie jar, consistently buying. So the thing to remember about this chart is that we've known about these times since Tuesday night Eastern time. Now that's kind of weird, right? What's going on here? Well, what I'm about to show you is akin to Morpheus talking to Neo. I'm about to show you the truth. No more, no less. On the web page that I sent you the times for, I also included a video, because there's a difference between raw data. There's a difference between raw data and a setup how will we trade the signals when we arrive at those times? And you'll see here on this web page that we have a link. We'll also be showing how the signals can be traded using one of these two entry rules. And then I linked to a video where I briefly described the ways that we would use, come on, how do I make this bigger? There we go. The ways we would use the signals. And so I'm going to show you a brief synopsis of what we were supposed to do when we arrived at the times that I gave you on Tuesday night. Okay, so let's just regroup, and figure out what we're doing. We know that the markets are rigged. We know that banks always win. So if we study the banks, my theory is we find the times they trade. Once we know the times, we use a setup. There are various ways to use these signals. Some of you have trading systems that you like, others of you don't really care. And I proposed in the video a trend entry system. So we were going to take the rig bank times in the future, and when we arrived at them, trade them in the direction of the trend. And there are two kinds of setups that I teach. They're basic setups. You don't have to use these setups. The times are what they are, and you can trade them infinitely number of ways. The first one is called a signal with trend. The second one is called a puncture. And here's the difference. We're going to put a 120 period moving average on our chart. 120 EMA. Nothing magical about it, just works well. And then, Joseph, when we get to the signal that is supposed to be a buying pressure time, we're going to put a stop below that candle, no more than 1.5 ATR values away from the low of that candle. 1.5 ATR values away. And now we're going to go long at the close of that candle. And we're going to hold it, hopefully, until the next counter trend time. Joseph, does that make sense? We're hoping to jump into a window where money is flying out of the bank vault. We're reaching into a box, hoping that it's filled with dollar bills for a certain period of time. And then we'll exit on the close of that candle. That's what's known as a signal with trend. So the thought process beyond that is, if they do it again, we do it too. If they do it again, we're there also. Pretty logical, right? Hinges on the fact of it working or not, but we'll see in a moment. Okay, that's a signal with trend, and it's weird, but we'll see in a minute if it works. Well, Joseph, when we arrive at the counter trend signal, yeah, Joe Bryan will get in touch with you. He's seen your statement. You got the flux from way back, horse and buggy times. So when we get to this signal, check it out, Joan. Do I want to buy when there's a selling signal? Joe, just put your phone number in there. He'll write it down. Joan, do I want to buy when there's a selling pressure signal? No, but you know what I want to check for? I want to check to see if it fails. So we're hoping, generally speaking, that it does this, right? That's what we're hoping, and when it crosses the moving average, we can sell it. But Joan, here's the cool part. What if it goes like this? what that tells us is that the sellers that used to be here, the people who were usually driving price down, have either taken enough profit and they're finished, or they're not there today. And so, Joan, if it breaks through this stop line, we treat it like a breakout. We'll put our stop one tick under the candle that punctures the stop line. And we're looking for an impulse move, a breakout away from congestion. So a puncture is more of a breakout, a counter trend failure. How about that? Does that make sense if I say it that way? A puncture is a counter trend failure, like my spelling. Hooked on Pophonics worked for me. Counter trend failure. Those are the two signals that I told you about in this video. So Joan, if I go back to that crazy web page that I gave you, and we look at the times that were on the market for Thursday in the largest futures index we can study, this is what happened 2 days later. Now, here's the weird part. This is why people call me a scammer, because what I'm about to review with you hurts. It reminds them that almost everything they've ever purchased, almost every guru they've ever put their hope and trust in, was garbage. Lagging indicator, regurgitated ancient poo-poo cock-a-doodle. Hopefully YouTube won't censor me for saying that. Now, look at this. Did it go up at 5:55 Eastern? Did it go down at 7:15? Did it go up at 8:55? And Joan, did it stop at 10:20? Did it go up again at 10:40? Did it put in an intermediate high at 11:10, one bar to the right of 11:05, and go sideways? Did it push up a little bit more at 12:35? And now watch this. This is the sexiest thing you'll see all week. Unless you have that scrambled channel. You gotta turn your head sideways and you get a headache after a while. Somebody told me anyway. 1 o'clock. What happens at 1 o'clock in the ES? It's a Bruce Springsteen song. I'm going down, 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 down. I'm going down, down, down. I'm going down, 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 down. What's going on here? Do I deserve the moniker of scammer, or does engineer work better in this instance? You see, we've found a way to catch these turd bombs with their hands in the cookie jar. Now follow me, ready? 5:55, London market opens up. We close above the moving average right here at 731.75. We hold the trade until 7:15, exit with $13. This candle closes below the moving average. We have permission to go short. Our stop goes right above this candle, and Joan, we're taken out. We give back 9 of the 13. The candle punctures through the blue line at 8:50. It's good for 5 minutes, and we hold it until the close of the next candle for $6.25. So let's keep track of this magic act. Signal with trend. Up here is a signal with trend. It crosses over the moving average and it fails. And then watch the puncture, $6.25. Guys, what do we do at 8:55? Leanne, what do we do at 8:55? Bert, what are we doing at 8:55? Is it a puncture or a signal with trend? It's a signal with trend. Whoop, whoop. Dancing on the ceiling. We enter at the close of the candle. And now a fascinating thing occurs, Leanne. For the first time in most people's lives, the trade goes immediately in the direction you were expecting it to. How far? $41. Some of you have been doing this 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25 years. We have a new customer who's been trading for 28 years. And he said, Michael, I haven't been successful. He said, you know what? It would be nice to get in a couple trades and have some of them go in the right direction right away. He's happy, like Britney Spears in a bikini shop right now. Strange reference, but stay with me. We get to 1040. What do we do at 1040, Joan? Buy or sell? Moving average is moving up. It's a white signal. Computer is warning us.
1040, institutional behavioral buying time.
Oh, I guess we're buying. You look over to the left, there's the guy from JP Morgan. You look over to the right, there's the guy from Goldman Sachs. What are you doing here? I'm going to buy right now. We told you we were buying right now. My indicator? What indicator you got? Don't worry about it. Are we buying? What are we doing? Yeah, we're buying. Don't get in our way. $14.50. Now, 12:35, lunchtime trade. What do? We get in, and by 1 o'clock, Joan, there's a loss. Womp, 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 womp. 3/4 of a point. Now, the crossover candle from the selling pressure signal doesn't close below the moving average until 4 o'clock. So I can't take it. I can't say after the fact, well, in our super special titanium silver premium members room, I alerted an elite group of traders to a special rule that allows us to go short at 1 o'clock. That's not the rule. Can't do that. But when we look at this chart and we add up the numbers on a weird day, on a very, very, very weird day, when everything is falling apart and we don't know what direction to trade, this software kind of whispers in our ear, just follow the times. 13 plus 6 plus 41 plus 14 minus 1 minus 10 is $63 times $50 per contract in one day, $3,150. If you traded a micro lot, that's $315. Robin, would the 10, come on now, would the 1040 trade have been stopped out? Okay, so Robin, good question. Thank you. So Robin, at 1040, the close of the candle is 794.25. Robin, 1.5 ATR values is this dotted white line right here. So for it to have been stopped out, it would have had to have touched that line if you put your stop there. I put mine one tick underneath it because I like the physical barrier on the screen. So no, you would not have been stopped out. you would have been fine. You can adjust the distance of your stop right here. So Robin, if you like a tighter stop, you want it to be one value of the ATR away, you can set it to 1. And now the dot's closer when it redraws. You see how the lines are all closer now, Robin? You can manage your risk. Yeah, I don't want to have that large of a risk. Look how much farther away it is. It's 50% closer. I recommend when you first start to have a 1.5. Okay. Any questions about that? Should this have worked at all? Should this have worked at all today? If what I've been telling you all day and yesterday and in the emails isn't true? No, it shouldn't have worked at all. Okay. You want to look at yesterday? Leanne, what were we doing yesterday? Because yesterday it went the other way, didn't it? Let's play the game, Robin. Ready? We are going to sell at 425, and we're going to get out at the close of the 540 candle. That's a $7 move, $350 per contract. Now, I'm going to blow this up so we can see it better. Robin, it punctures the white line and finishes right here. Only 1/4, but it's still a tick we get to keep. That wasn't ours. What are we doing at 6 o'clock, and how long are we doing it for? Following the simplest trend system in the world with the weirdest entry based on a 2-day-old time. That's right. We sell it and we hold it until 7:20. And then we thank baby Jesus for the software that warns us when these guys are about to buy and sell. That is a $30 move, $1,500 per contract. Now, Robin, watch. The first time it punctures that line, these little bastardos don't follow through. In fact, can you guys see after the fact where all the buying took place and all the short covering was? And how long they did that for? The first time they punctured the line, Robin, my stop is above the puncture candle and I'm taken out. I lose 10 of my 30. So no bueno. The second time it comes through is 9:35. So Robin, as soon as it comes through again, we sell on the second puncture and we hold it until 9:40. So we lost 10, we got 850 back. Oh. Now I have one rule that I hope people will indulge me with. If we get $500 to the plus side, Robin, is it okay to assume we get to break even? Okay. So here at 9:40, we're in the flow. You sell and it goes immediately in your direction. How far? Over $1,000. This is over $1,000 per contract immediately at the signal time. Wouldn't it be nice to get in trades most of the time in the right direction and confidently know you're hanging on to the tail of the elephant as it pushes its way through the markets? So we're going to call this one. I don't know what you would have done, but for the sake of argument, Robin, I'm going to call that a break-even trade. Now, it's worth noting at 10:10, what happens? It's worth noting at 10:10 it pushes right up. What do we do at 10:55? How long do we do it for? That's right, we sell until 11:50. That's a $27 move. Sexy. You look marvelous. And now, Robin, we have this little fake out. It punches through. We have the puncture. How far does it go? It goes almost $150 per contract on the puncture, but it hits the stop. We got to call it when we see it. Minus $8. But for the record, what happens at 11:50? Does it again, doesn't it? What's their next trade? Anybody? That's right, 135. What direction does it go right away? 135 closes at 86.50. It goes straight down until 210. We're in that window a 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth time. 220 comes, close of the candle. We hold it until 325. Signal with trend, 325. Boom. It's a $26 move. There is a puncture. It happens right here. The stop out occurs right after it. You give back 6. And then Joan right here is a stop out right at the close of the day. Minus 15. Let's add it up, shall we? It's the most wonderful time of the webinar. 7 plus 0 plus 30 plus 8 plus 0 plus 27 plus 8 plus 26 minus 15 and 8 and 8 and 10 is $65 times $50 per contract is $3,250. In 2 days, what does that equate to? That's $6,250 in 2 days. Robin said, which settings do you have on the ES? So I use the same settings for all of the instruments that I'm about to show you. I use a look back of 714 and a swing strength of 8. And if you don't know what that means, that's cool. It's a generic default setting on the software. There are more accurate settings for this market than the one that I'm showing you, but we give those to you when you get installed. Should this have worked at all today? Should this have worked at all today? You say yes, Leanne, but most traders would say no. I posted this page on a Facebook group for the E-mini S&P, and the 3 reactions were laughing face, laughing face. And by the end of the day, I posted the result at the end, and no one made laughing face comments. No one made laughing face comments. You want to see something weird? What's going on with gold this morning? I gave you the turning times for gold on Tuesday night for today, for Thursday. What happened? Robin, look, settings, ready? Same settings, 7, 14, 8, ATR 1.5. Let's make it 1 for Joan, ready? Now it's 1. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the web page. Wednesday, Thursday. ES, CL, CL, GC. Watch me. 9:35, 10:10, 10:50, 12:05. 9:35, 10:10, 10:50, 12:05. 8:35, 8:35. Chop area. 7:20, 7:50, 7:35, 7:50, 7:35, 7:20. Did I change the times? No. What conclusion can we come to? Someone had a plan for gold 2 days ago and executed it today. That's the only logical conclusion. Can anyone think of another idea? Maybe I called my uncle, Warren Buffett, and I said, hey, Uncle Buffett, I have a webinar on Thursday, and I'm really trying to impress Robin. I want her to buy the software. Can you do me a favor on Thursday? And can you make the markets go up and down at these times? Why, sure, Michael. I'll do that for you. I'll use billions of my dollars to manipulate the markets so you can sell a piece of software for a few $1,000s. No, it's ridiculous. But yet, watch. Down at 720, up at 735, down at 750, up at 835. Robin, candle closes above the moving average. Ready? Closes above the moving average. Close of the candle, 842.6. Stop goes below the candle, 839.2. How long do we hold it? Till 9:35. It's a $2,000 per contract move. What do we do next? Any punctures? No. Okay. Well, I guess we'll wait. Well, when do we wait for? 10:10. What happens at 10:10? All aboard! Okay, close of the candle, 857.5. How long do we hold it for? 40 minutes. That's a long time. I'd like to get out sooner. Hold it. How many of you get out of your trades too soon? Because as soon as it turns green, you're thanking Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad. Allah, thank you for this trade, for my 5 ticks. And then you watch it go and go and go, and it still goes and it's still going, and you're like, oh, why do I do this to myself? I suck. I'm good at everything else in life except this. We get out at 10:50. Look at where we got out. That's a $600 move. But I want you to see where you got out. Ready? You bought it from here to here. And then, Leanne, you bought it from here to here. Did you leave a lot of money on the table? No. Mike, I use 3-minute for ES. Any advantage to the 5? No, Eric, is the same result. Just shorter, fewer signals, less risk. So Leanne, we have one other trade on this chart. Ready? Wasn't much, but we take every little bit we can. 1050 is above the moving average. Lower, 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 and then right here, it closes below the moving average just before lunch. And Leanne, I can take it for 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes are all in my direction, and they're down. Thank you, Mr. Goldman Sachs. I'll be taking this from you. It's $140. If you saw $140 on the ground, would you reach down and pick it up? Yeah. Yeah. Now, these are not the only time frames that we're watching. There was an announcement this week. American Airlines found all sorts of money. Did you read about American Airlines this week? They found all sorts of money, all sorts of customers. This is Michael. Brian's the one texting you. He's like the cute brother who doesn't come out of his room and talk to the girls. He just stares in the, stands in the bedroom looking out. That was a weird thing to say. Brian, by the way, if you have a chance to meet him, he works with new customers. He uses this software, Robin, to qualify to be funded by other companies, to be a funded trader where you trade other companies' money. And he's done it now 4 times with 4 different companies. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to be a new customer, he will work with you one-on-one to help you accomplish that if that's a goal you've got. But look what happens. Before the earnings report, the 22nd of January, before those numbers are released, how high does American Airlines go? From the close of the candle to the high, it went almost $6. How long does it have? Until February 8th. Well, surely it doesn't work on other things, right? Well, what about Bitcoin? Here's Bitcoin on a daily chart. These are Bitcoin futures. You can trade them through NinjaTrader. Now our charts are different. Our charts are different because they tell you what to expect in the future. This dotted white line right here is the present. So the indicator, 12,000 lines of code, is saying, hey, Bert, we're right here. This is right now. This is right now. Everything to the right of the line are future behavioral forecasts. And so I want you just to see the last signal before the present signal closed on December 14th, and it went up $23,000 before it finished $17,600. I want to show you a trick. If you look here and you have 2 times that are far apart, those of you that are existing customers, if you have 2 times that are far apart, you can split them into thirds. You can split 2 times into thirds, and the signals oscillate in polarity. So if you have blue on the right and white on the left, you can look at this signal here, and then the next wave is here. Those of you that have the software now and you want a little trick, this is something we do in the force room. You can take any 2 timing signals and you can split them into thirds. So if you wanted to do it on the next cycle and get a little more resolution, I could do that. Dean, did you see what I did there? Earl, recognize that technique? And look at what happens over here on the warp side when we split that into thirds if we're looking for trend entries. So far, the close of that candle to where we are now is about $1,700 of Bitcoin movement. And you have until this intermediate red line. And then the next place to buy it is February 8th. One of my favorite stocks to watch is Tesla. And if we look at Tesla on here, those of you that have the software, I have a different setting with the newest version. Robin, this one is actually a 3, a 6, and a 9. 3, a 6, and a 9 with a swing strength of 8. And when you do that, check it out. We had a period of consolidation at the last selling pressure window, and then it broke out and rose from December 31st to a double top right here on January 26th. How large of a move was that in Tesla if you're using calls and options? That was a $182 move, more or less. And now it's been falling. It fell $83 back down. When's the next place to look at buying some Tesla stock or options? Follow the bouncing balls. Ready? November 6th, December 9th, December 31st, February 2nd, February 16th. So how do most people trade? I have to remember sometimes that it's been over a decade since I looked at anything else. And one of the things I remember, I made a list the other day. I had a guy come up to me and say, what indicators did you used to use? And I said, well, I used to trade divergence. I was taught to look for highs and lows, and that's how you made money. I would use RSI. I would use the stochastic. Then I would use a moving, anybody ever do the moving average crossover trick? That was fun. Then for a while, somebody told me to look at volume, and I would look at volume spread analysis. Then I would look at bar types and patterns. I would look at dojis. I would look at evening stars and morning stars and 3 ravens, 3 soldiers, forgive me. I've watched people now get on board the order flow analysis train. Elliott wave analysis. I actually know people who made money with Elliott waves, so I can't say too much about that. But there was a litany of things that, for the most part, were lagging indicators. And there's a problem with that. I even made a slide for it. Check out my slide. Hang on, you're going to have a seizure. The choice on the left affords you a certain answer. It says, hey, this is what just happened. If you want to know what just happened, this is the RSI was 79 30 seconds ago. Well, which way is the market going to go 5 minutes from now? I don't know, but the RSI is 79 right now. Okay? How many of you have watched RSI stay at the overbought level like all day? And you keep selling it and selling it and selling it. You're like, you're supposed to cross over. And it never crosses over. I got tired of that. I got tired of watching people I was friends with in these forums and Skype groups. I had one woman, her name was Paula in Texas. She was a special needs teacher. And this is a true story. She traded, Leanne, with her husband, who was a contractor. And Paula watched her husband sell his contracting business. And they put a piece of plywood in their living room. He had a computer on one side. She had a computer on the other side. She blew out her account first. And she got a job back at school. He kept trading. He kept trading. And he lost and he lost and he lost until he had $200 in his account. I remember it like it was yesterday. And he said, I can make $200 a day. And Early had $200 in his account. He basically said, I will double my money every day forever with his $200 account. I'm tired of that. So we built this tool that tells us what the cheaters are up to. We can look at a daily chart on the E-mini S&P. How many of you were here last week? If you were here last week, I don't know why I'm yelling in the microphone. I'm sorry about that. If you were here last week, the software, when we reviewed this, told us the 27th was the day that the banks were likely to sell. We knew that the 30th of December was the push up and that the 23rd of November was the push up. Can everyone see what happened since last week? Raymond, the market fell apart. It opened, and so far it's fallen $140. That's $6,000 per contract. And nobody saw it coming. Just like nobody saw that one coming when it fell $89. And no one's going to see it coming on the 18th. No one's going to see it coming on the 8th. It'll be a grand mystery. There you go, Tim. It'll be a grand mystery. This also works on currency pairs, by the way. We're presently tracking the Australian US dollar. Do you come from the land down under, where beer dusts grow and men shunder? Can't you hear the thunder? The selling pressure time doesn't get here until February 10th. And here's what I love about where this market is right now. Ready? I see them playing games. Leanne, watch this. Ready? There's the low. There's the low. There's the low. Can you see it? You know what yesterday was? Stop run day. Yesterday was stop run day. No, this is get people to panic. This is a stampede. So I see this and I want to buy into this rally even more. I want to buy into it even more. Again, those of you at home that want to have a little guess as to what's going on, can you see that right there? I draw it from blue to white. There's the selling pressure signal. The next buying pressure signal is coming over here. This is going to continue higher until the 10th. It'll probably put in a higher high before then. But they crush people's accounts. This is an account crushing moment right here. They had no intention of driving it down and going lower and lower and lower. They had every intention of destroying people's lives. And I'm tired of it. I'm very, very, very tired of it. All right. Any questions about this so far? This was the YM today on a 3-minute chart. Just again to sort of really drive the point home. On Tuesday night, we sent the email out to several thousand people who are not existing customers, and we said, hey, we would like to put our money where our mouth is. Watch these times and see for yourself. And here's Thursday, ES, CL, GC, NQ, Euro currency, YM. Yeah, it works on wrinkle bars, sure. These are the times Hulu. Here's what happened at those times. We can go back yesterday. Oh, what happened yesterday? The same thing that happened in the ES. The same kind of shenanigans. Bum, 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 bum. NQ. Eric, did it work in the NQ this afternoon? What do you notice about that chart? Anything? NQ. It's a sell-off. So what are we doing at the dotted white lines? What are we doing at the dotted white lines? That's right. We're selling when it punctures the white line. What are we doing at the blue dots? We're selling. Yeah. It's really unbelievable, isn't it? How simple it can be. Now, one of the things I want to ask you too, how stressful is it trading this way compared to the way most people trade now? How stressful is it when you know when the times are coming up? Hulu. There's your Renko signals, right? You can do the same thing, right? Use the volatility offset. Yeah, there we go. Is it any different when it's a Renko bar? No, man. There's just square bars. No. So it's worth noting, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier, I'm sorry. This works on time bars, Renko bars, volume bars, tick bars, and honky tonk bars. Just kidding. This also works on second base charts up to weekly base charts. Dennis, if you already own the software, you don't get the marketing emails. So you can trade intraday. You can also trade with options for higher time frames. You can swing trade with the same tool. Chris, it'll work on any forex pair you want to look at. What pair do you want to analyze? What's your favorite forex pair? What's your favorite time frame? You don't scare me. And Chris, take the caps key off. I am not whispering. Am I whispering? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I will talk louder from now on. 1 hour AUD JPY. Stand by for the 1 hour AUD JPY. Let me put my text box over here. Indicators in 17, 21, 28. Swing strength 5. 1.5. Hit OK. Data series. 90 days of data. Pull it out. Stand by 1 second. It's loading up on the other chart. It is loading up on the other monitor. I meant to say monitor. Okay. Here is the Australian dollar on a 1 hour chart. And we can pull it back over here and pull it back over there. What do you think? Where's my guy? Christopher, not too shabby, right? One of the things you can do with the software is you can control the size of the swing that you're looking at. So for example, if you want to see larger moves, you can take the swing strength and make it larger. And now, Chris, you've got a much larger swing strength to work with. If you want to see smaller moves, we can change it from a 15, I don't know, like a 10. And Chris, you see how there are smaller moves now in between? There's a secret with the Australian dollar when it comes to this pair that I want to try. And I just want to see how it works. Just give it a second. Yep, no, that's not going to work. Let me go back. Here was the pound dollar, AUD, JPY. There's the 5 minute. There's the 10 minute. Can you see, Chris, how it's sort of the same across all the different time frames? Yeah, we don't have to work too hard to get there. I love these kind of patterns right here, where you see that little, it's not going any lower, closes above the moving average. There's your puncture. You go long until here. There's your signal with trend. You go long until here. Now we're coming into the 5-10 signal, and we'll see when this candle closes if it goes long and forms a new high. Joseph, all time frames work the same. So what are the differences between the different packages? That's a fair question. So, stand by. On our webpage, there are 4 groups, 4 classifications. The first one is an entry-level version of what we've been looking at, Mike. The first one is called Prime. It's based on the Flux platform that we sold for 6 or 7 years. It has some limitations because it only works on time bars. It only works from 1 minute to about 60 minutes. It doesn't do daily. You can't do options or long-term trades. It will work in futures and forex, though. Warp does everything. With data mining, it can tell us everything that we've seen here so far. 95% of people who start out with us, they start out with Warp. Mike, that would be our flagship product. Okay. Alpha used to be the only product we had that could analyze longer swings. And so the alpha signals, Mike, are based on celestial inputs, lunar patterns, lunar phases, and sunspot cycles. It's a celestial tool. None of the signals are based on data. They're based on extraterrestrial forces, okay? And then force includes all the other programs. and force and its training. So it includes all four in one. It is by far the most accurate, the most intensive thing I've discovered and taught now to over 100 people in the last 2 years. Fewer than 1% of our customers ever use it. Yeah, so most people are right here and they're perfectly happy with it. That was a good question. Any other questions about any other markets or how the software works? Things that we're curious about, analyzations we want to make? Yes, Leanne, absolutely. In fact, we do that regularly for people. This way they don't feel like they missed out. Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, we're not here to be an obstacle. In fact, this is a great opportunity for those of you that care about such things. Our customers work with us very closely, and we have a 4.7 out of 5 customer rating on Trustpilot, which validates and verifies that these people are in fact actual end users, customers who have bought the software. So if you're very interested in those types of things, I'll put a link in the chat box if you want to go through and review that. What platforms does it work on? Good question. So this works as an indicator for NinjaTrader 8, which is one of the only platforms that has the power and the capabilities to project future times. NinjaTrader 8 also has an API or a plugin for interactive brokers, for TD Ameritrade, for eSignal, for forex.com, CQG, Rhythmic, and I want to say a couple other platforms. And so we work inside of that. If you don't want to use any of those, NinjaTrader is free for charting, and you would just need a data feed. The data feed can be supplied by a third party like Kinetic if you don't have data from any of the other companies to pull into NinjaTrader 8. Let me see. What's up there? If there's a way. They do not connect to E-Trade, unfortunately. No. If you are, Anthony, if you're working on the daily bars, if you're looking only at end of day data, NinjaTrader also has a free end of day data feed. Would the work with seasonal moves? Yes, Chris. You would just use a larger swing. Does not work with thinkorswim. And there are a couple of reasons why. NinjaTrader, in terms of, there's number one, the power. It's one of the only platforms that offers the computational power to do these calculations. And number two is the security. On nearly every one of the other platforms, third-party vendor security limitations prevent us from developing a version for those platforms. The minute we would post it online, it would be hacked and distributed all over the world. Yeah. So I look at it this way. It's sort of like finding out that you have cancer, but the chemotherapy is one state away. And if somebody said, hey, Joe, they got a thing that's going to save your life, it does not work on Sierra charts. But you got to drive to Tennessee to get it. And if you drive to Tennessee and you get this shot, you're going to live. Well, let's go. But the minute I say, no, it doesn't work on Sierra charts, you're going to have to do something to get the info. People go like, I'm so sorry. I guess I'll leave here with my cancer.
That's all.
All right. Everybody gets so sad. It's like, look, this is a miracle. Let me introduce you to my friend Jesus. He turns water into wine. Can he stay with us, Mom? I don't know. Your father doesn't like men with beards. Aw. You're welcome, John. I'll make sure Brian gets you the recording. Brian, make sure John Malero gets the recording, please. Does it work with Unirenko as well? Yes. It'll work with Unirenko, no problem. Signal for crypto market to NJ8, Mike. That was BTC 0321. BTC space 0321 futures for Bitcoin. Yeah. No, I just want people to have it because it really works well. So the thing I want you to remember is this. We are a team of engineers for over 50 years experience between the two of us. We are committed to customer service. We're committed to your success. There are people that we work with that have qualified to be funded traders on no fewer than 4 different platforms. People who are trading in live accounts, swing trading in their retirement accounts that you can talk to, that are willing to help and come alongside of you. We've met the burden of proof here today. Every other company you've ever worked with, every other vendor, every other educator told you what to do after the fact. We are the only company who tells you what's going to happen in the future. And then we circle back, apply a simple rules-based system. And in 2 days, you made $6,000 potentially, hypothetically, with one contract. Yes, Anthony, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. You can also open NinjaTrader with a $500 account, and they'll let you open a micros account, but I believe you get the data for everything else. So you'll be able to see all the other futures symbols. If it were me, this is just me, if I didn't have it, I would download NinjaTrader, which is free for charting. And then Anthony, I would go to kinetic.com and I would download a free data feed. They give you 500 symbols to work with, live data. 65, what does it end up being? Does anyone remember? Up to 100 symbols simultaneously, historical tick and daily data, minute data. 500 market metrics, including tick and trend. And I think it ends up being $65 or $85 a month. Basically, 4 ES ticks a month. Yeah, that's true. Nerved says, I made 20 points in the micro ES with your signal sent on Tuesday. Awesome, Nerved, thank you for that. So that's what I would do if I were you guys. NinjaTrader is free for charting. Get the data service. If you can't make the 6,000 hypothetical is 10 months of data feed, and that's just the cost of doing business. If that's too expensive for you, then maybe not trading would be a good idea. So I forgot to tell you, there's a promo code. There is even a promo code because we're stupid. And my partner says we shouldn't be giving out discounts anymore, but I want everyone to have this. I want the banks to wake up and have a hard time because so many people know what they're about to do. If you click on the following link that I'm going to put into your GoToWebinar chat box, and Brian, you're going to be a busy boy. Does everyone see that link right there? I'll put another one in just under it. It should say backtothefuturetrading.com/TachEON time warp. Click on that link. At the very bottom of the page is a buy now button. If you click the Buy Now button, this annoying window pops up. We have a training room for customers only that show the setups live. We cover large swing trades. We cover moves in the market that are large. We look at smaller intraday signals, predominantly crude, gold, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell. If that's the kind of environment you learn in, it meets 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 8 to 12 Eastern. If you don't need it, don't get it. Click the blue lines, boom, it's gone. Giant purchase agreement, we make sure that you're taken care of. We make sure that your code is working. You have to make sure your computer can run this. If it's a 5-year-old computer or earlier, you'll be fine. If you steal the code, we're going to come after you. Oh, if you're a bank, you're not allowed to use it, blah, 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 blah. Click the X. Now, this comes 2 more minutes and we're done. Hang tight. Not a lot of talking left. Just listen. This is a lifetime license. I know I spelled that wrong. 2 computer licenses. You get free installation. You get an hour of one-on-one time with us. We're gonna, after your charts are set up and loaded and the data's connected, we're gonna go onto your computer. We're gonna log on. We're gonna make the settings, the optimal settings for the Australian yen. We're gonna find you the optimal settings for Bitcoin, for the stocks, American Airlines. These were default values we were working with today. That's included as well. We're gonna build all your charts and templates, record the session and save it. You get free access to our video training archive. Learn 24/7 on your time frame. And then you get a promo code. The promo code is WARPOFF. WARPOFF. And when you apply it, it takes $500 off the price. WARP, I'll type it in the room, WARPOFF, takes it off the price. Robin says, setting up the charts saves so much time and brain neurons. Yes, it does. If you want to talk to the guy who is using this software, and he has qualified for no fewer than 4 funded accounts using these signals, you can email him, Brian@backtothefuturetrading.com. And I have his crazy phone number coming up here, 802-427-4123. He is a real person. He has used the software. He is a customer. And he is here to answer any questions you have. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Joseph, Brian will take care of you. He has all sorts of various goodies for people like yourself who have supported us through thick and thin. No, thank you. Listen, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time here today. This is, of course, recorded. And I want to just encourage you, if you're struggling, if you've had a suspicion for a long time that the game was rigged against you, you're right. If you want to play, you have to play by their rules. Their rules are sneaky and shifty, but they're profitable. Stop looking at cockadoodie lagging indicators. Stop following your conceited know-it-all gurus and take your future in your hands. I want you to start getting into trades that go immediately in your direction right away. I want you to see that there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I can't promise that you're going to be a millionaire a week from now, but I can tell you that we will be with you every step of the way and make sure you get every manner of service that you need to feel comfortable and start to succeed. On behalf of everyone here, Yes, Anthony, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Please sign up. Your installation appointment, we can get you going as early as tomorrow morning into the weekend, so you can get up and running and started and making profitable trades next week. On behalf of everyone here, my pro staffers, my support staff, my partner and best friend, Mr. Ron Gardner, all of our customers on Trustpilot who've left a note for you to help you understand what you're getting into, thank you for your time here today. It's an honor to have spent it with you. I appreciate it. It's a privilege, and hopefully you've learned something here today and maybe been a little entertained along the way. You guys have a great night. If you have any questions, please, I'll leave the screen up here. Get in touch with Brian and let him know you want to talk. Send him an email. He'll be in touch with you, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night, everybody.